I'm sorry, I don't know how you can react to this. I'm your mom and you're my son, and I am falling in love with him. He said, are you really? I said, yes, I am. He said, you know what? I was scared to let you know too. I am too. He was too, falling in love with me.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mel, and welcome to Life Coaching by Mel. Here at Life Coaching by Mel, we speak truth regarding the nuclear family. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell right next to it, hit the like button. Everyone hit that like button for me. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. Just hit that like button for me so we can help the channel grow even the more. This is going to be an amazing conversation. I can assure you of that. Hit me in the comment section. Share your opinion. Let's get this conversation going, and be sure you share this with everyone that you know. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to discuss enmeshment. Enmeshment is an amazing concept, and when I say we, I have a special guest here with me today, so let's get right into that conversation. How you doing today, Diosa?
I'm doing fine, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. So glad to have you here. I appreciate what you have contributed to my life and to my content, to my life coaching, because honestly, you bust my head wide open with this enmeshment conversation, and I appreciate you for introducing me to that. And it's about to be an enlightening conversation. Diosa just came to me with this amazing story that she has, and she's going to share that with us here as well. First off, Diosa, what we want to do is introduce everyone else to who's not familiar with the term, and also give a little background on how far this can go. So let's do that here.
Hey, Jim, can you talk about mother and son enmeshment?
Dysfunctional emotional entanglement between a mother and a son, unhealthy emotional boundaries. This dynamic happens with fathers and daughters as well, but it's actually more common with mothers and sons, especially if the mother is a high spectrum narcissist or an antagonistic personality style. The lines are blurred between affection and control. A mom can start to rely on the son emotionally, even make them a surrogate partner, telling him things like, you understand me a lot better than your father ever did. This can actually turn into emotional incest, but it can get to the point a man takes on a partner or a spouse, they still continue to put mom first rather than creating a loyalty for the family that they're building. There's something called mirroring infusion. The mom expects the son to have the same viewpoints on everything. And there's guilt and anxiety if you try to create boundaries or if you try to individuate.
Woo! That's some pretty powerful stuff there, Diosa. Now, I think he explained that perfectly as far as my understanding of it. Do you have anything you want to add to his explanation?
Yes, they tend to speak on enmeshment like it's a mirroring of the mother, but it's not a mirroring. I've noticed that even on a show, there's a show called I Love a Mama's Boy where it depicts that very clearly, okay? Very clearly. It's not the mirroring. It's the mother mirroring her ideal, like, soulmate. She created her perfect lover. Okay, so why would she let her get away? And that's the crazy part. It's like they're not just mirroring the son, or they don't want the son to just mirror them. It's like, where are you going?
Yeah,
I created you for me.
You're mine.
Yes.
Oh, and this is a very disturbed behavior. Now, I hate to say that just to cast that on someone, but obviously there's a mental condition there going on. But
Yes, and they try to downplay. That's exactly my point. They try to downplay. Oh, it's the mom just wants to be that close. No. There's a boundary between wanting to be close and trying to prohibit you from actually moving on in life and having a soulmate or having a relationship or actually having friends. They're trying to make sure you don't have a way out of this relationship. It's like a tied marriage you're born into. You're born into this marriage you can't escape from. There is no leaving this marriage.
Wow.
Mind you don't even know you're married, but you're married.
To death do us part.
Yes.
I don't have a choice. Okay.
The umbilical cord was cut, but it's still there in their imagination. You're still in me, and I'm still in you. You're mine.
Wow, it's incredible just to think about. I mean, just to put your mind on it. It seems unfathomable, but it's actually happening. And I actually have two examples here, Dio. So we have kind of a mild case. In my world, this would be extreme, but for some, this may be a mild case. But then we have an even more extreme case of it. Let's take a look at both of those here.
A Utah mom was shamed for giving her son an inappropriate hug. Some social media users accused the football mom, Amber Wright, of crossing the line as she jumped on her 16-year-old son after a football game. The mom defended her actions by saying what you saw is just how we are, and that they are even more intimate in private.
It was literally a hug between my son and I, and so if you're one of the people that happens to see something immoral or wrong with it, then I'm just gonna say that's on you, and I'm not gonna take it down because I didn't do anything wrong.
Some social media users defended the mom's behavior, stating that there was nothing inappropriate about it and that people commenting about the hug were jealous because she's a young, attractive mom. But the mom ended up deleting the video and putting her Instagram account private after the internet backlash. But what do you think about the hug? Would you hug your mom or son like this after a football game, or is this behavior completely inappropriate?
I want to ask you this because you saw people come into this and they defended her. They saying there's nothing wrong with that hug. Is there a propensity for people to defend women?
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to be honest. People would say that I'm being biased, but no, I'm a woman. I've been through DV. Mother unisex. It's like I'm not defending, but we know the society is prone to overlook that mothers could be just as harmful in a sexual matter or in an appropriate matter, just like a father or a male. They undermine that all the time. As children, we're taught to watch out for the male predators. The male predators, as males and females, we're taught to watch out for the guys who like to touch up on little kids, but we're never taught on the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunties.
Ooh.
They exist too.
Yeah.
They exist too, and we're overlooking, society overlooks it because they're women. They're nurturing. Not all women are nurturing. And yes, I would say yes. Yeah. Because they believe that all women are nurturing. They believe that that factor in the woman does not exist.
Man, that's so good. Man, let's continue because I just want to make that clear and just see if you saw the things that I saw because of course, this is something, you know, everyone raises their children different. You know, we're not telling you how to raise your child. But if this had been, the shoe had been on the other foot, let that been the father embracing his daughter such as that way, it's kind of crystal clear exactly how that would be seen by the world.
Very true. But that's because, again, as I stated, we've been taught from society. It went from a patriarchal society to when it became a woman matriarchal society, it was a target on the patriarchal. So we were taught, again, as I stated, everybody is evil, but more is look as the man. He's the evil one when it comes to the pedo type of way. But it's not that case. Sometimes people overlook that the maturing is a little more alluring.
Yeah.
She's more mature with the mother nature, so she knows how to lure you in better. She knows how to carry you to come and say, hey, let me do this to you. Because it's okay, I'm a mom, I'm an aunt. I'm supposed to bathe you and touch you here and do this because I'm your safety.
Ooh. That's really good.
They don't think about it like that.
So true, so true. But we're bringing awareness to that today. Let's keep doing that. And let's get that extreme case right here. This is, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. This is pretty crazy.
I told him at first I told Carlos that I'm sorry, I don't know how you react to this. I'm your mom and you're my son. And I am falling in love with him. He said, are you really? I said, yes, I am. He said, you know what? I was scared to let you know too. I am too. He was too, falling in love with me, with his mom. And I was falling in love with my son. And then we ended up talking and we took off to the park. And we ended up asked him, will you ever date your mom? And he said, will you date your son? I said, honest truth, yes, I would. Because 19 years, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and I really want to be with you the rest of my life. And I really want to be with them. It's kind of hard right now, but I don't care what people say because we're going through a lot right now. We try to keep it a secret, but we couldn't do it no more because, my other kids found out. At first, they didn't like it. Then they started liking it. They're accepting it. And my mom, my dad, my brothers, my family's accepting it now.
What would you say would encourage a mother to act this way?
You just heard her. He's the best thing she's had in 19 years. That's a child that in your mind is the best man you've ever been able to find at 19. And that's the child you raise.
Yeah.
How can that be the best kind of man you found in 19 years when you raised them to be someone else's man? Where she says the family is okay, that is a big part of enmeshment because they allow that. The family sees the enmeshment, the family sees the grooming because you know what is generational. It's generational. And remember, in that clip, she said they're okay with it. They were caught having intimacy, a mother and a son, and the family is okay with it. That means the family themselves are in enmeshment and they're also committing incest in that family. Why else would you be okay with it? And the crazy part is you pretty much are 19. You pretty much waited for him to be of age to where you groomed him to where he feels that you are the love of his life. You're the best he could find in a woman. You probably took his V. As his mother, you took his V card. You were waiting for that. Most of this enmeshment mothers protect that part of their sons or daughters like it's theirs to take. That's weird.
And she's saying this as if she's surprised that he came to that realization that I want you as my mother to be my woman when she totally groomed him to be that way. You know, it's kind of it's a version kind of a Stockholm syndrome. Like, you know, although he don't think it's wrong, but it still is like he knows no other way than to believe this way.
It is like Stockholm syndrome because there's actual, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send this link to you. Is a doctor who identified a part of the brain that gets triggered and hurt the same way it would for a child who was sexually abused in enmeshment. How are they taking the same lobe injuries on the brain if one is supposedly only psychological, but it's not sexual? But it must feel sexual to that child where it takes the same mental injury as a sexual assault victim or a child who's been DV'd.
Yeah.
Or sexually assaulted. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
And they make it seem like, oh, it's normal. No, it's not normal to when you're a whole grown man who can't have a life because you feel that your mother is your wife. And your brain, you've been groomed since you were little. That is your wife. There's no leaving this wife. She could bring you other babies from other niggas, forget the word, from other men. And guess what? You're going to raise those babies because you're her man no matter what she do. How many other babies she bring up in this house? How much she don't get her life together? That is your job. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And it's a high level of child abuse. And I think for me, you know, just as someone who has a version of this experience, to not have heard of this, you know, it's kind of crazy in itself as well. Because at the end of the day, we talk about every aspect of, you know, how men tarnish families, and talk about every aspect of, you know, how, the drama and the trauma that women go through. And we talk about, you know, especially in the Black community where Black women are the most unprotected. That's never been the case. The most unprotected group are children. And if I'm not putting this on you, Diosa, but I also children that are being raised by Black women. I'm just being real. I know it's not a Black issue, but 80% of children are being raised in single parent households, you know, and primarily by single mothers. And it just at some point you're looking in the mirror.
I have to agree and disagree on that. Forgive me.
Absolutely.
Because like I told a couple of people that we've spoken about this, yes, at some point you could say it is the father's fault. He wasn't there to do his job. He does give that credit of you disappointed somewhere. But also, the father hasn't been in the house for a minute.
Ooh.
It's been the grandmother and the mothers running these houses. Grandmothers and aunties running these houses. It ain't the father and the grandfather. This has been almost 50, 70 years of them running the household.
Ooh.
You can't keep saying it's the man, and yet you only see the woman and the grandmother dictating how the household should be ran. Okay, when something happens in the Afro community, okay, African American community, and Afro Latino community where I'm from,
yeah,
where's the first thing they go get authority from and respect from? The mother and the grandmother.
That's right.
How are you going to sit there and continue saying it's the man when the men have been bowing down to the woman of the household for almost 50, 70 years? And there hasn't been no man of the head of the household because grandma runs it and then mama runs it. No, honestly, because I see how it's affected my own as well. Like, forgive me, I have brothers as well who could have been incarcerated over choices my mother made, and them defending being the savior of a traumatic, overreactive, maybe alcoholic, abusive, narcissistic woman. And most men in jail are there because they were being the savior to some woman in their family. Or they were enmeshed with some woman who they had to go out there, mind you, and go out there and hustle, probably sell in the corner to make money because there was not a man at home.
Yeah.
That enmeshment put them there as well. People don't think about how just being raised by a mother who was financially struggling and would not either take a role in society to go to work and actually do something, or actually submit to the form of, okay, I need to take partnership. I need to learn how to compromise to take partnership because I need someone to actually equally help me raise my child, because that's an absence. There's an absence there. But no, it's not the same as to when you say that and then you see the men who are constantly trying to hustle to make money to pay the bills, trying to hustle to pay for the younger siblings that continue coming, and there's still no man stepping up. Or the daughters who do that, who have to take on the male role because either they're the older sisters and they have to go out and start bringing in income young early to help provide. It does nobody any justice playing the role of having to play the savior to an adult who honestly has been on this earth longer than you. They should know better by now. And if they can't know better, then maybe you need to move around.
Yes.
But in enmeshment, that's not how it is. It's like, I devour you. I eat you up. You don't breathe unless I say you breathe. It's weird. It's weird. It's very weird because it's like they don't have an identity. They don't know how to be one with themselves. They have to only be one with someone else. Either they have to co-inhabit, to clone themselves to someone else so they can feel like there's something, or they stay remaining to the parent because they don't know anything else. They're afraid of knowing anything else, just like the parent has taught them. You can't leave, the world is dangerous. It's like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's 100% weird. Man, you say something that triggered a thought for me. It's 100% true what you're saying. I mean, I think about times where I had 3 sisters. I had both my parents in the household. No shot at my dad. He was a great provider, but he wasn't present often in the home. And my mom ran the home. It was complete matriarchy. And I will say that, to this day, my sisters I don't present myself that way, but they look at me as a second father figure to them and things of that nature, just based on the positions that my mom put me in. And I think back to moments of my sisters having issues at school and my mom putting a batter in my back and saying, you need to go beat up all those guys that's messing with your sisters. And I'm like, so you want this 19, 20-year-old boy to go to a high school or a middle school and go beat up some little kids? Okay. Yeah. But yet I did it. And I didn't end up in jail or anything like that, but I got enough gumption in me based on her encouragement to go do this. And oftentimes in that situation, a young boy or a male think you have to do this in honor of your family, in honor of your mother, because you have been groomed. You have been, presented all these things that this is the most important thing to you. And I'm so happy about the awakening that I had, that I now live in now. And it's like, to hear, more extreme cases is baffling. But I want to get into that because you told me your story. You gave me this amazing thing that has happened to you. Share with us, share with my audience what happened.
Enmeshment. Well, met someone mutually, like I told you, and they felt we're going to be like a good hit. Started talking to this person. We spoke, just on a regular, and it was normal at first. He'd go to work, call me after work, okay. But then I started noticing certain little things, like we'll be on the phone, and his little sister will come in, and you hear bitch, 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 and I'm like, why is it every time I'm on the phone, she say this? Okay, so he told me, she autistic, but forgive me, I'm old school, new school, past school, doesn't matter. Respect is respect. You're autistic or not, you're still taught respect.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm like, okay, that's your excuse, not mine. I ain't trying to hear that. Control that, or we're never going to speak again. Stop. Next thing you know, the mom will come in the room. I'm like, okay. But then I'm thinking I'm tripping. So I decide to ask the friends, like, okay, something's really weird here. Mama comes in, sister, bitch. like every second I'm on the phone. That's what she's saying, right? They're like, oh, that's weird. You know what? Because he was dating this other girl, and she said the same thing. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking they bugging out. They telling me something crazy. So we continue talking as friends. And one day he calls me. I see his picture pop up, his special ringtones playing. So I decide to, answer the call. I'm thinking it's him. It wasn't him. It was his mom. His mom, while he was sleeping, decides to take his phone, pretty much walk away, go downstairs, on the elevator, go downstairs and call me. And allow me to assume that it's him. Because, I'm thinking it's him. First thing is, what do you want with my son? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, hello? So the question, the crazy part is what killed me was when she said, woman to woman. Why didn't you call me on my phone, on your phone? You obviously know my number. You could have called me on your phone, woman to woman, because you're not his woman. So what you talking about, some woman to woman? This is weird. Hung up, that was it. When I told him about it, it was crazy because it's like he got mad. He got this anger about him. And I'm like, okay, my fault. Your mama called me at your phone and I'm the problem. Okay. Because I called it out for what I saw. Am I lying? That was sneaky on her behalf. That was disrespectful, not just to the people on his contact list, but to him overall.
Yeah.
She waited till you were asleep to call someone off your phone, misleading them, thinking it was you.
Wow.
How is that like normal? Didn't speak to me. I said, okay. And then one day I was looking, it was like this, like when you're reading Kindle and they introduce you to books and suggest books.
Mm-hmm.
This book popped up that says, When He's Married to Mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
The algorithm took over, huh?
I saw the title that said When He's Married to Mom by Kenneth Adams, and I just went reading.
Yeah.
And it was true. Never dated outside. He's only dated people on social, on phone, never dated physical. I'm like, okay, weird. But then when I found out all that it consumed his life, financially it consumes him, emotionally it consumes him. He's like a slave in his own life that he's paying to live in, but he's not happy in.
Wow.
No respect towards him whatsoever because he could be on the phone with us, whether it's a male or female, you would get embarrassed. She would embarrass him. She would embarrass him. He was a male, whole grown man. To assert her authority over him in front of all his peers. That's weird.
Very.
Then calls him my love in front of every woman that he encounters. Why did she call you my love? And then you get mad when that is in question. Why would you question that? Why would you get mad at that? Why would you not question your mom?
Wow.
Then walk around. You're normally walking around without, a shirt. And you just your drawers all day.
Wow.
Around your mom and your sis. At some point, you don't feel the discomfort. A grown woman, another grown woman, and a grown man all in one house, like three is company. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
At three is company, we knew the tension that they were playing off in that air, in that zone. Weird.
Yeah.
Then it became friction, really bad friction. Couldn't talk the same anymore. If I called, mom was in the background. If I called, he had to put us on mute. If we were playing with him, he would put us on hold for hours because she needed him to do something in the same house they were living, and she had been at home all day. It was bad. It was bad. My favorite one. When we finally found out what enmeshment was, he said I was jealous of his mom. That was my favorite one. Our friend group broke apart because of it. It was a big group of us that we gamed together, like actual PlayStation. But because of the situation, it was bad. Enmeshment, I'm going to tell this to people honestly, whether you're a male or female, dating someone in this situation. Look at the parent. Look at the parent. If they're conniving, if they're liars, if they're just any kind of trifling way, just know that the son is toward the daughter. Because remember, they mirror each other. They're one. they're highly one. But the one thing problem about the son who's enmeshed is because he learns how to be charming like the mother. He gets that sexual aura from her
Yeah.
to where he can, get women to come into his life. But you're not gonna be that. You're gonna be second wife. Second wife. And if he has a sister, you're gonna be third. And if he has a mom, grandma, mom, sister, you're fourth.
Well,
Count all the women in that enmeshment. You're gonna be that number.
for sure. Now, I say that all the time about, we got this thing, we talk about F boys, fuck boys, whatever you want to call it, in our society. And I say these guys were created. This comes from somewhere. Like, and I typically lean towards single motherhood. Not saying all single mothers are bad or that introduce that to their children or that type of behavior. However, there's a common thread in a lot of them. And I think, of course, the enmeshment in my mind is a higher level. But I think that if we got this term as well that we are running rampant with now called narcissists. And I think they are created as well. If you got a man or a boy who has never heard the word no, or that mother appeases every wish that he
Everything he
has,
does.
when he get with you, he expects that same behavior. Am I right or wrong?
True. But like I stated before, it cannot be an all mother thing because these men grow up too. At some point, you have to grow.
Absolutely.
At some point, you see society and how society moves. So you know that you're moving out of order. Eventually, you have to know that something in your life is not in order when everybody's getting married, having kids, getting their own houses, and you're still in your same bedroom from when you were 2. The bank account's still zero because you're taking care of her needs. You're buying her car, her dream house, and that you're getting old. Mind you, my favorite part about all of this, they give her all the money, do everything for her to hear, for them to hear, my house, my car. You got to ask me permission for mine, but you pay for it like a dum-dum.
Yeah.
And then now you have to go in society and look like a weak man, a broken man. How is that fair to that man or to that young boy who's trying to grow in society and become something when he is literally his whole family is his backpack. He's told his whole family on his back, like he is the man of the house. It's not his job.
It's not a job indeed, and I agree with you. Now, one thing you told me prior to recording that you received his permission, to tell this story. So obviously he's aware of the
Yeah.
behavior and the connection that he has with his mother. So why do you think, since you said he has to be held accountable and he's responsible for his own actions, what keeps him there?
The same thing we discussed the first time, the financial. Then nobody talks about an enmeshment or mama's boy syndrome, whichever one they take, but highly enmeshment. Because see, enmeshment is different in the quote unquote society difference. Okay, we're gonna white society. The parents who have money, they keep their children trapped with their finances. They buy them their houses, they buy them their cars. See, they allow them to live a little bit under their financial control. The other side is you already live in poverty. And then when you're finally able to go out into the world and start making your own money, your family, your mother's making you her husband, and now you're taking all your finances, your resources for your growth to who are already supposed to be living life together, gotten it together. You cannot leave poverty in poverty. You see where this is going?
Absolutely.
The mother didn't get it together. There's no money there. So now all his resources are there. All her resources, if she's a daughter in enmeshment, her resources are there. And she's afraid that if she leaves, what happens? That's the main reason why a lot of these young men, especially in the Afro-Latino community, African American community, get stuck or have to go try to get the hustle way out to try to make as much money as possible. Because if I get money in the bulk, I could take care of her and leave. And it backfires.
Yeah.
They ruin their lives that way.
Yeah. And you say ruin their lives. How do these enmeshments typically play out in your view?
Well, if it's a severe case of what I've experienced, they don't live life. These are the kids who skip prom to sit at home with mom who is going to be so lonely. Who every moment of their life down to birthday, holidays, every memory is just them and their mom, them and their mom, them and their mom. They have no outside circle, no friends. They never lived out of the house. They lived there from the minute they took their first wham into their adulthood. Some have never lost their V card and they're almost 40 and 50. How is this fair to them? Mind you, and they're doing this serving women and fathers who have already had children and multiple marriages. They don't have lives. They don't understand what living outside of that parent control is. It's like you're a slave to the womb. You're a slave to the womb. And if it's enmeshment, you're a slave to a mother who keeps you in the womb, but also in a way sexualizes you. Because they can't see, again, the book, Kenneth Adams, when he's married to mom, he shows it in stories of men that he has given therapy to. Some can't even interact sexually with a woman because their mother's always here. How is that fair to them?
Yeah.
Some compare the woman they're looking to for their mother because she's the godly. And that's what it is. An enmeshment, they godly the parent. The parent is God. So that means whatever God wants you to get, you do. You don't disobey God. So that's what makes it bad. There should be no human on this earth that should be worshipped or idolized like a God. Not even a parent. Because we see what it does. They take advantage of it. They destroy their children's lives and anything they can have before that or after their encounter with that parent. You don't get to leave. There's no leaving this parent. And that's bad. That's bad. Everybody deserves a chance to go out and flourish and have children and get married and have relationships and travel the world. But that's not the case.
I want you to present a message to 3 different groups of people. A mother or a parent that's in this situation that's enacting on the enmeshment, the child that's in this position, and then any family members who notice this, what can they say? What is your message to those 3 groups?
First, to the mothers, it's okay to love your kids. Of course, we don't want nothing going wrong, with the children or happening to them. We love the children, but also you have to let them spread their wings. There's no point of you saying, I've raised a successful child if they're not spreading their wings and showing the world the success. They're going to come back home if you teach them how to come back home and how to also grow. You can't clip their wings and demand growth and then say that you're doing the best you can while holding them back. They will come back to you if you let them grow. Maybe even rich and famous and show you something. Make your world worthwhile.
Yeah.
The child, have a voice. Most enmeshed situations, they teach these children their voice doesn't matter. They teach them that their inner self is not important because remember, they have to mirror the father or the mother to survive in that relationship. And sometimes it's dangerous because the parent could be toxic and abusive. But have a voice. You're already going to be abused, be in silence. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So might as well just have a voice. Speak up at all times. If you know that it's wrong, if you know they're approaching you wrong about things that they shouldn't, like, hey, I'm going to speak to you about adult situations even though you're a child. Or I'm having a big fight with your dad. Come stay in the bed with me and cuddle with me. You know it's wrong. You know right from wrong after a certain age. And even as a child who's 9, 10 and above, you see. So no. Learn how to say no and learn how to have a voice. And with anybody else who sees it, how would I explain enmeshment if you see it? It's not a mother just loving a child. And it's not a mother just loving a son. If you see that this boy is growing up without no friends, no communication outside of that home, and all he has is his mother, you know something is wrong because no boy should be consumed by his mother 24/7. To the point where he doesn't even go to the barbershop. I forgot to tell you that one. That's one of the funny ones.
Wow.
Almost 40 and has never been to an all-male barbershop. Mama still cuts the hair. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's how consumed they could be. Never been surrounded by actual strong, men that could say, that's wrong. Get out of that. It's not cool. So if you see it, say something because these will be the adults that someday will sit in the basement wondering what happened to their life, Allah forbid, and forgive me for saying this, blowing their brains out because they're miserable with the life they never got to live.
Mm.
And that's not fair because the parents know what they're doing. They got to live their life, so they know the order of life. And for them to try to hold their children back from living the same order they were allowed to live speaks volumes of that parent.
Wow. This is really good. This is really good stuff. It's been an honor having this discussion. I mean, I appreciate you once again. I can't thank you enough for presenting this to me. And it's not the last time I want to talk about this. What I want to do now, just give you the floor, give you the last words. Anything else you want to say that we haven't covered, or anything you would like to say just to our audience as we close today?
No. If you're interested in finding out more, Dr. Kenneth Adams, like I stated before, he is the expert. He is the man who discovered it. He is the man that will give you the best. He has overcomingenmeshment.com, a website that you could check out if you would like to. He has 2 amazing books, Silently Seduced and When He's Married to Mom. Check those out as well. And if you just might not feel like reading, there's a TV show called I Love a Mama's Boy. Please watch all 4 seasons. Believe me, you would understand at the end of the show what enmeshment is.
Awesome, Dios. It's been a joy having you on once again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, and thank you for having me.
My honor.
Let's go.